Set's magic has blocked the way into the temple. We will not be able to stop him unless we can find a way back.
Hello there gorgeous Tomb Raiders, and welcome back to another Pure Play TV video review. And today we're taking a look at Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris for Stadia. The game is available on PS4, Xbox One and PC, but we're specifically looking at the Stadia version, which is a relatively new release for Google's streaming platform. Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris isn't your standard Tomb Raider in a tank top game. Rather than the intimate third-person dramatics of the Tomb Raider reboot trilogy, Temple of Osiris is instead a more arcadey experience. So there's no Lara breathing heavily. If that's what you play the games for, you perverts, then you will be disappointed. But if you're looking for a refreshing adventure with actual tombs, then Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris is a solid game to play on Stadia. Before we go exploring this review any further, please take a moment to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below, and don't forget the bell icon too, so that you're the first to know when we've got new stuff to watch. Cheers my dears! Temple of Osiris is light on story. The premise is that Lara has teamed up with her rival Tomb Raider, Carter Bell, as well as a couple of gods, Isis and Horus, who have been imprisoned by the evil deity Set. This guy is a no-gooder, and he's the one pulling the strings. To stop him, you need to hunt down the fragments of Osiris, literally his body organs, limbs, and all the rest, to stop Set from taking over the world. It's a decent enough story, and it provides a good reason for Lara to be running around Egyptian tombs. It's not on the same level as the proper games, but it's enough to keep you going. The focus isn't on the story, mind you, but instead on the gameplay, and that's where Temple of Osiris really shines. The game pulls the camera out from behind Lara and plonks it way up above, presenting the game in an isometric manner. It might feel a little less personal, but that's okay, because this isn't a story about Lara's redemption or Lara's daddy issues. The focus is the gameplay. Gameplay consists of going through different levels, exploring, finding stuff and shooting things to death, as well as a few puzzles. And you find these levels by exploring the hub world. There are more than enough levels to play through, and you'll definitely need to go through them at least a couple of times if you want to collect everything. The levels are generally themed. For example, one has physics puzzles and another has light puzzles and reflections. The puzzles themselves are not particularly difficult, and the game is quite generous in the way that it will automatically push you forward if you fail a few times. I'm split on whether this is a good thing or not, but ultimately it did keep me playing when I probably would have put the controller down and stopped, so no matter what I think about it, it worked on me. Combat is twin stick style, and very satisfying. There are a bunch of weapons to collect and upgrade, though don't go expecting a full-on RPG style skill tree. Instead, you find tokens that upgrade your health, ammo allowance and weapons. I liked it because it just kept me playing, and that's a common theme with Temple of Osiris. The game just wants you to keep playing and keep you having fun, instead of getting bogged down with complicated upgrade menus. There is an inventory screen where you can alter your loadout, and you can find rings and amulets that give your weapons buffs and perks, but that's about as deep as it gets. A nice touch for fans of Lara's adventures is the inclusion of alternate outfits. Sure, you can't really see them all that well or in any great detail during play, but it's cool to see the OG Lara in all of her blocky sexiness during cutscenes. That was weird to say. Do I have a crush on Lara Croft? More importantly, do I have a crush on Lara Croft with a pointy face? I will be seeking help after this review. The action comes often, and you'll be blasting skeletons, bipedal crocodiles and much more throughout the adventure. It's good silly fun, and definitely a little more fantastical than Lara's more grown-up adventures, but I enjoyed it for what it was. Combat is fun and really responsive too, with some tactics being required for some enemies and some brain power for others. It's not especially deep, but it doesn't need to be. It's an arcadey game. Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris might be an old game at this point. It originally released way back in 2014, but it's a new game for Stadia. It's a great fit for the platform too, no matter where you play. I spent most of my time playing Temple of Osiris on my Samsung Galaxy Tab 6, and on that tablet, the colours literally jump out of the screen. Everything is highly polished and looks great in motion, and the game is a great fit for mobile gamers. On the other hand, it still looks and plays really well on the Chrome browser, as well as on the Chromecast Ultra on a 4K TV. But for me, Temple of Osiris is a mobile game that I'll play in bursts on the tablet or on my phone.
This mural tells the story of Sobek.
Performance-wise, it ran beautifully and it was really responsive. I was using the official Stadia controller at all times, and that no doubt helped with input latency. But for the majority of my time playing, I was playing on the home Wi-Fi, and it still worked really well. I rarely play any Stadia games directly plugged into the router, unless I'm at my desktop. Temple of Osiris might be an older game that you've played elsewhere, but it's still worth a look on Stadia, especially as it's a freebie for Stadia Pro subscribers. I've had good times with it, and it was my first time playing. It felt like a new release, albeit a budget new release, but it didn't feel its age is what I'm trying to say. Now, I'm off for some therapy, or to play Tomb Raider on the PS1 on my own in the dark. And that's the end of this review. I really do hope you enjoyed this video and found it to be at least a little bit useful. If you did, then please do hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. It really does help us. And don't forget the bell icon too, so that you're the first to know when we've got new stuff for you to watch. I've been Chris, you've been good little Tomb Raiders, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, take care, bye!